Way down upon the Swanee River, far, far away. That's where my heart is yearning ever, home where the old folks stay, home where the old folks stay.
Welcome to Florida Men on Florida Man with Greg, Wayne, Josh, and Cameron, the podcast where Floridians discuss the legends, lore, and crazy stories that always seem to take place in Florida. Wow, 151.
151.
Wow. You really popped that P.
It's because last week, Josh, you robbed me of my intro.
Yeah.
Well,
you
I thought
did
I
really
could.
jump the intro there.
I talked to a life coach.
Okay.
And they go, just take some ownership on that show.
Right.
Yeah.
And the fact that I stole your whole segment in that show, you had to get something.
I
If
had
you-
to, yeah.
if
I
you
knew
haven't
I knew that was
listened-
coming up. I wanted to jump in.
Right. If you haven't listened to last week, 150 was very special. We covered all headlines.
Yes.
The entirety of the show was led by
Lowest
Cameron.
rated show to date.
Oh,
A lot of people wrote in and they
that's
said,
probably true.
Cameron sounds beautiful, but I can only handle so much.
Right.
So
They said,
much,
I'm
yeah.
crying and I'm shaking because I can only take so much of that beautiful voice.
Have
Speaking
you-
of that voice,
Have you heard
Speaking
it in
of that
Spanish?
voice.
yes, sir.
Yes, we
Last week, we released the Spanish version of our show, hosted
Wow,
by
it's
the
good.
lovely Alina Francine.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I love it. I don't
I'm-
understand it, but I love it.
Exactly. I'm not bilingual.
Sure.
I know about 20 words,
Okay.
Right.
but I listened to the whole episode, and she's good.
She's so
She's
good.
I couldn't carry our show by myself.
Right.
I don't know how she does it.
She is fantastic, and we are so blessed to have her on the
Yes.
team. So yeah, check that out. It came out last Monday. Check out 150 if you missed it. And right now, we're going to check out some of Cameron's best headlines.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
My entire goal in life is to see and experience more of my friend Josh. And the only way that I can do that sometimes is just to go on patreon.com and watch him on the live stream and just imagine myself sitting there next to him at all times, hearing what he's saying, seeing what he's doing. I just love the man and I can't get enough. So to do that, go to patreon.com/FMOFM podcast and just get more of Josh. That's all you need in your life. It'll fix everything. Okay, headlines.
Okay, headlines?
I've got
Headlines.
50 minutes of headlines for you again
Again?
I
today.
can't do it again.
All right, so our first headline, we have a Florida woman who hacked into a flight system,
Okay.
What?
clearing planes that were broken and saying that they were free to fly.
This
they
a
were
flight simulator?
safe. No, these are planes.
Real planes.
These are real planes. So anyways, this Florida woman was found to have gone into the flight software
Right.
at Melbourne Flight Training.
We fly.
Okay.
Yikes.
And deleted the make, model, and tail numbers
that's
of
no good.
12 airplanes.
Okay.
And so nobody really knew what was happening when they got to work one day and they realized, okay, we don't have any flight plans. We don't have any information on the airplanes.
Today.
We're not sure what airplanes are safe to fly.
Well, that's not good.
What's interesting about that is some of them have like missing wings or like
Yeah.
missing
And
tails.
they're like,
Right.
You're approved
Yeah,
according
and
to
And the
like-
only way to know is if it's in the
You gotta
computer.
fly.
They're like, I don't know what to tell you. It's
or
been,
if their
it's been
hood's
greenlit.
up. If
Right.
the hood is up on the plane, then
Right.
you go, I think that one's being worked
How
on.
recently did this happen?
So this happened January 12th, 2020, but it's
Okay.
all this is all coming out now. But anyways, the owner of Melbourne Flight Training, went into work that day, saw these issues. Once he started getting into the program and just saw weird things, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Things aren't adding up. So he ended up grounding all of the flights.
Everything.
you have to.
Yeah, he had to ground everything until all the information could be
Because
restored.
the one without a wing was like, I'm taking off soon.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm flying no matter what because
Yeah.
the computer says I'm fine. So he started, investigation. And what happened was they thought it was a director of maintenance that they actually fired in 2019.
My goodness.
Okay, they fired
She's been
him.
stewing. Oh, he's
No,
been
it's a
stewing.
he. They thought it was him, but it turns out that the day that he was fired, his daughter, who also worked there, resigned from her job as
That's what I'm
flight
talking about.
operations manager.
Solidarity.
Right. And so when police went to the father and said, listen, your IP address was used to hack into the system.
Wow.
Ooh, she wasn't good. No VPN.
Well, the interesting thing is she actually somehow got the credentials of the person that replaced him,
Wow.
which I don't understand.
She's clever.
She got the new credentials, but signed in, on his IP address. And then so the police went to his house, broke it all down. He's like, I
Easy.
have no idea how you would even do that.
They use the same format, last name, first name, same basic password.
Probably.
I get it. I've done it. Who hasn't?
Geez,
Josh
you've done
is
it?
hacked.
Who
He's
hasn't?
grounded multiple aircrafts.
Yeah. Well,
Here's the thing, though. So he didn't realize his daughter had done it.
No, so he signed an affidavit stating he did not do all this.
lock her
And
up.
then it started clicking that it was probably his daughter. So then he said, I'm concerned about my daughter at this point. And then said,
But
that
at least
he-
I'm not going to jail.
well, no,
Yep.
he then confessed to sabotaging the
Oh my
computers,
gosh, I
saying it
love
was him, but police were like unable to even see, like he couldn't tell police how he did it.
They're like, you're too dumb.
And then, yeah, they
To
held
have
up the
done this.
affidavit.
Yeah,
Like,
so
He tried to sacrifice himself.
they ended up charging his daughter with
No greater love.
accessing
Yeah.
computer electronic device
Little
without
script kiddie.
authority, modifying computer data programs without authority. So
That's
Now-
insane.
do airports, they only get money if an airplane takes off?
Successfully.
Okay. So
You get partial funding if it takes off and crashes,
oh, really?
which is
Okay.
bad PR.
Yeah.
Full
For the airport.
funding if it takes off and lands appropriately.
At its destination.
Right. So my thing is, here's the thing, Pops. If you have a daughter who also worked there with you, who's also upset about the fact that you were
she
let go.
quit same day.
Yeah, and she's smarter than you. You couldn't think for a second that maybe she was involved? Like,
Why would you let her quit?
I have no idea. I don't know the answers to those questions.
2 incomes wiped out.
However,
Right.
the dad did say, he's like, listen, the owner of this company like tortured my daughter for years.
No.
And like was
Well,
just
the
super
dad
mean
should
to
be
her.
stepping up.
Well, I guess he did because he, claimed that it was him just
Wow.
to save his daughter, which didn't work. But
right.
Yeah, he didn't stop the
So
torture.
she's
well,
got.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I don't know because he didn't even resign. He got fired.
yeah, what the heck?
I think all around what we're trying to say
taking
is
wings
this
off.
guy's not a good dad.
Well, next headline.
Bad dad alert.
Next headline. All right, we have a Florida man that is tired of this lady stealing his mail.
Yeah, same.
Now
yeah.
that's you could
Yep.
get checks in the mail.
Right.
You could get
What other things?
birthday cards in the mail.
Right.
Never.
Small
You could
animals.
get wedding invitations in the
You
mail.
could.
Now, we discussed this last week, actually, I
meat.
believe, on the show.
Yeah. Postmaster General.
That is a federal offense.
Right.
That is not your mailbox. It's the government's mailbox.
They can take
So what happened now? This woman, she's going to prison for life.
We have a Florida man.
it. Uh-oh.
Okay, that was having his mail stolen by this woman. So he decides to send her a video message
Okay.
to clear things up and to tell this woman that he is not happy with her stealing the
No,
mail.
you put a bear trap in the mailbox.
Right.
It's not hard.
Right, I've done that.
100%.
So anyways, he sent a video message saying, I'll kill you.
Oh, well,
There it is.
Okay,
There it is.
I'll kill
escalation.
you.
Yep.
So he said, I'll kill you twice.
Yeah.
He sent a video message though because he did it in sign language because he is deaf. So he sent
my
a video
God.
message of him signing, I'll kill you. Okay, I'll kill you.
Yeah. What's
Now,
that look like in sign?
The
Here-
evidence is super clear.
Here's
Yeah,
the thing,
for
though.
real.
I would love to have been the cop who didn't know ASL
Okay.
and was like, this guy's just throwing gang symbols. There's nothing
Right.
wrong
Good
here.
sign language.
Yeah.
But
Nothing-
then he did the thumb across the neck.
And that's when they're like-
universal.
Now, is that so?
I wonder if he did that and then they're just calling it sign
Oh.
language.
So if you have to compare apples and oranges here, though, what is
Yeah.
the greater crime? This woman committing a federal offense by stealing mail, or this fella who's just trying to protect his mailbox and
Well,
sending death threats?
His could be false promises, right? She did it.
She
for
did
sure.
it.
She did it for sure.
He's
His was
accused.
just a threat. Yeah.
She's done it.
Now, is there another sign that's close to the kill sign? in ASL that it
That
could
may have been
one.
accidental.
My throat hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, "I'm upset, but I have strep throat, so we can't
He said a
discuss
whole
it."
sentence.
My medicine, my strep throat medicine is
I
in the
see.
mail.
I'm out of my strep throat medicine.
All right, next headline.
Okay.
We have a Florida man.
Okay.
I'm cracking up because his mugshot in the article is just insane.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Can't wait to see it.
Florida man who was wielding a sword
Yeah.
God, wielding
and
is such a good
sitting
word.
in his front yard surrounded by fire,
Okay.
drinking a bottle of rum.
Come on.
All right, just to
I do
set
like
it up a
rum.
little bit.
Yeah.
All right, so officers were called to a house because of an active fire.
Okay.
All right, when they showed up, they could see flames 4 feet high stretching from the suspect's home to the middle of the road.
Okay.
Now that's a lot of flames.
That's a
4
good
feet,
HOA.
a trail.
That's a good HOA.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because in my neighborhood growing up, that's just a campfire.
Yeah, you
You're
can only
just-
have 2 foot flames.
Okay.
Right.
Trails of flame were campfire to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So whenever we wanted to roast hot dogs or
You do a
s'mores, we
trail.
set the front yard on fire.
So that everybody could take part.
yeah, you
Right.
never know who
Every-
wants to come over.
You don't have to crowd around in a
One fire
circle.
pit.
100%.
Yeah, or wait your turn for your
My
hot
family
dog.
would do that Jimmy Buffett song, Ring of Fire.
Right.
So we would do a ring and we would all sit in the middle and then everybody had access to the
Dude,
ring.
that's pretty clever.
do it outside. Yeah.
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 There's no trap in that way. No, you couldn't get trapped inside of it. So, anyways, police show up. They see these flames.
Yeah.
Then they notice the Florida man drinking Captain Morgan
Yeah.
with a
Nice.
sword surrounded by open containers of alcohol.
Okay.
Uh-oh, those are flammable.
And so they end up arresting him. They put out the fire. All right. They book him into jail. And as soon as he gets into the booking cell, he breaks the fire sprinkler,
Okay.
causing his room to flood.
This guy's really obsessed with fire.
Yeah.
Well, over the past 6 months, he's been arrested 5 times for illegal fire.
Okay.
What's the fire addiction called?
Pyro.
Yeah.
Pyromania.
Pyromania.
That's the thing is,
I think it's valid in this
I
case.
think so.
I was
too.
going to say too. So my dad called me a pyro one time because he caught me in the garage.
No, he called you a pirate.
Oh,
Halloween last year.
I forgot
Right.
about that.
Mhm.
I thought it was because I used to light matches in a bucket in the garage.
Yeah.
Mm.
But that makes more sense because I do wear an eye patch occasionally.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you did light yourself on fire.
This
in a
guy,
pirate costume.
speaking of pirates, this guy had Captain Morgan rum
Whoa.
with a sword.
yeah.
This guy's a legitimate pirate.
I'm
No, I think
surprised the sword didn't come up again in the story.
Is this story about you?
No, it could be, but I was going to say this, man. So I know he's been called upon multiple times to go to jail because of his flame addiction.
Right.
But I don't mean this comically. Like, what is the crime? Is it the fire?
I think because the fire could move.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Did it cross
the
property
fire
line?
was like in 10 feet away from other houses.
Oh,
like
true.
multiple
Okay,
houses.
so had he just been standing in the front yard with a sword drinking, that's
That's okay.
I hope so.
yeah. I mean, it's
I hope
reckless.
so.
Or else I better get a lawyer.
Yeah.
Charged with intentional or reckless burning of lands.
Okay,
Yep.
gotcha.
So
You-
nothing about the sword or the rum
No,
Well, no, you're allowed to drink in your own front yard.
with a sword.
Why not?
I
don't know.
I'm
That's
not
why we're
I'm
asking.
not contesting.
I don't know.
I'm making
Just
sure
don't
it's
start a
okay.
fire around you while you're doing it.
Amen.
All right, next headline. We have a Florida man who was reloading ammo,
Uh-oh.
okay, small arms ammo in his house.
hmm
All right.
As opposed to big arms ammo.
right.
Right. When all of a sudden his house blew up.
Okay.
Neighbor with a sword.
70
And a fire.
Yeah. Not a good mix. Not good neighbors. 75% of the family residence was like gone. Severe damage.
Wow.
The police showed up. They were able to get him out of the house as well as the other adult in the house. They were both transported to the hospital and they're going to be okay.
Mhm.
So he had 6 pounds of gunpowder in the house.
Oh, so he's making bullets?
He's reloading bullets.
Oh, like the casings.
Yeah, so you
Gotcha.
can reload.
Bullets expensive?
Yes,
Oh, okay. Is
Well-
gunpowder expensive?
that not as expensive. No,
Got it.
Huh.
it's definitely
There's a
cheaper.
hole in the market.
This is the thing is this is actually super normal.
Okay.
Like for people that shoot a lot.
Yeah.
Like reloading ammo is not like a really crazy thing, but I
Got
feel
it.
like 6 pounds of
when you buy in bulk, you probably get cheaper, right?
probably, but inside your house, I feel like is not the
Yeah.
best. Maybe if you had like a ammo shed? I don't know. Like blow up the shed instead of the house?
That makes sense. Because most ammo sheds are required by law to be 30 feet from the residence.
I don't know, but like I'm glad he's okay. But that one came up.
75% of his house go boom.
Yeah. and he survived that.
He's fine.
That's a miracle.
He was in the 25%.
It is a miracle. Yeah.
Definitely a miracle.
How did hold on, I'm sorry. How did it explode all around him when he was the one handling the gunpowder?
We don't know.
Oh.
Angels probably.
Honestly.
Yeah.
All right, next headline. We have another Florida man that likes weapons.
Okay.
And so this guy he's facing 30 years in federal prison.
You think the last guy went to jail?
No, he didn't. There's no wrongdoing.
So the one guy with a fire outside his house, jail. This guy blows up 75% of his own house. He's fine. That's
jail.
Fine. That's cool.
It's fine.
That's so true.
There was no criminal wrongdoing.
Crazy.
It's his own house.
That's like on its own yard.
That sounds more dangerous.
But it can't spread to the. Okay.
I don't know.
You see where you're coming from.
Oh, no, I definitely do. Anyways, our next Florida man.
Yeah.
Facing 30 years in prison.
Yeah.
For shooting down Lake County Sheriff's Office, their drone. Okay.
No.
So here's the thing.
That thing's got a gun on it. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
The drone was out because the sheriff's office was responding to a burglary at a 10-acre business property in Mount Dora. When all of a sudden the drone was shot down from a neighboring property.
Okay.
So this Florida man shot this drone down with a 22 caliber rifle.
Nice.
That was not even on his property.
Not
had
yet.
nothing to do with him.
Not yet it was.
Right.
And he told, when police went over there, when they saw the drone fall out of the sky, which is pretty
cool.
That's pretty impressive.
Kind of cool, yeah.
So when
I bet it was fun.
Yeah, probably for them. So when they, realized who had done it, they went over and he said, "Yeah, I shot it down. I've been harassed by drones recently."
Is that true?
Which you can't.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't. Down talk him if he's being harassed by flying.
That's
machines.
the thing. And if the drone didn't identify himself,
Yeah,
right.
because the drones have to fly over. This is the police department,
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
It's not for you. It's for the neighboring property.
100%.
My camera can't see into your property. Don't worry.
It's very different from a perv drone, and that's the danger. Is you have to learn the difference between the two.
What's a perv drone dressed like?
Usually,
you see them a lot on Craigslist.
100%. But no, but they also
hire.
For hire. That's the difference.
Okay.
But no, I think this guy. Did they get charged for anything? Did that excuse work?
No. So he has 29 prior felony convictions.
Okay.
In Florida,
gun ones.
And so, as a convicted felon, he's prohibited to even have a firearm.
He said, "I slingshot it."
Yeah.
So instead of just minding his own business and let a burglar be found at a business park in the neighboring property, he decided to shoot down the drone that wasn't even near his property.
Does the cop drone have red and blue lights flashing?
Probably. Cool. And then go to jail for 30 years because he did it. Because he's...
Whoa! Oh, because of the felonies.
That's what I said. Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Facing up to 30 years.
I would love if the prior 28 convictions were all drone related.
Yeah.
He shot down. This is his 29th drone. Yeah. And they're furious. They're you're costing us thousands of dollars, mister.
That's a lot of drones.
That's crazy. As a property owner, you guys, how much feet above your property do you own? Can you keep your family safe from drones?
It's actually in litigation right now.
I think there's a lot of lawsuits.
It's like 100 feet up.
And that's something that has never it's never been discussed. It's never had to be.
Yeah.
Right.
But now that is a discussion that's happening, is how much above your land belongs to you.
Yeah. Because now Amazon is flying out of Lakeland.
Right.
And they fly big 747s right over your house.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
If they get too low, can you just
slingshot it?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think
you
so.
might go to prison for 30 years, but you can do it.
Is it worth it?
Yeah.
I don't know. It might be. Depends on how much, you
hate
Amazon.
Right.
Anyways, our next headline, we have a Florida man. He's in trouble. I'll just tell you this.
What?
Most of them are.
All right. So he goes into a convenience store.
Yeah.
All right. He's waiting for a takeout pizza. Everybody knows those take forever sometimes.
Yep.
Unless you get it hot and ready.
Okay.
Little C's.
He's waiting.
Yep.
So he decides to kind of leave the store for a little bit.
Take a break.
Right.
Yeah. He also takes a bag of gummy candies with him.
Okay.
Without paying. So he leaves.
The store has pizza and gummy candies.
Yeah, sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So anyways, he leaves with the gummies without paying. Police are called because he
doesn't say I'll be back.
I don't know, but police are called because he stole a bag of gummies.
Of course.
The police are there when he comes back. I assume he comes back for his pizza. And so they arrest him. He gives them a false name.
Okay.
All right. He changes his name because he has felonies under his other name.
Geraldo.
And so the problem was he told the guy at the convenience store when he signed up for store rewards program.
Oh no.
What kind of store is this?
I don't know.
Yeah.
So he told the whoever was asking him for his name, his real name. So cops had his real name.
Right.
He gets arrested for stealing gummies and because he has a warrant out for his arrest.
Okay.
He's in the cop car.
Yep.
He tells the police, "Hey, I'll give you $750,000 if you use my fake name in the system instead of my new one."
That's pretty good. Yeah.
I'll take it.
And I guess they don't take that deal. Okay. So he ups it to $1.5 million.
No way.
Wow. Doubled it instantly. Terrible negotiator.
That's a good deal.
It's a good deal for
honestly.
the cops.
How much cop salary is that? Like 9 years?
At least.
And you could probably buy a lot of drones with it too.
Oh, yeah. You can replace a lot of shot down drones. So this guy is facing 10 years in prison because he stole a bag of gummy candy.
Hold on.
Okay.
I don't see a guy that's signing up for a rewards program.
Right.
To not also say, hey, I'm going to come back for the pizza. I'll pay for the gummies.
I'll bring the bag with me.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what he was intending.
He should have communicated because if that was his intent, maybe he should have just communicated. But, you steal a $3 bag of gummies.
Yeah.
Now you face 10
But that's
10
the
years
thing,
in
though.
prison.
As obviously he could afford it because he has $1.5 million to give away.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know.
So that's it's perplexing, but I guess off to prison.
Hey, fellas.
Joshua.
Josh.
So this question does not come from anybody.
Okay.
I went to a birthday party this weekend.
Yeah,
Right.
you did.
I think
at
I
a
did too.
Trampoline park.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah, I
No,
definitely
you
did.
were there via live stream,
Right.
which thank you for attending.
Actually, I was there. I passed you coming
Did you?
out when I was
Whoops.
coming in. So
Josh did the Irish goodbye.
yeah.
Did I?
And I
Yes.
was like an hour late.
The room emptied and I saw my exit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So I left.
I remember my children saying, "Where's Uncle Josh?
Uh-oh.
We want to see Uncle Josh."
I said bye in gift form.
Right. That's
Did
true.
they love their gifts?
It's a great gift.
Thank you.
So the birthday party reminded you of what?
Birthday party that I had been to.
Okay.
So I thought I'd ask you guys best birthday experiences
Ask away.
Best birthday experience?
or worst.
Yeah, I mean,
really make my segment zing because last week we had all of headlines.
right.
Yeah,
right.
well,
This-
I really zinged.
Bring it this week.
I've been a part of a lot of really good birthday parties.
How many?
I've had I don't know how old am I? 36.
Okay.
But I've been a part
you
of
look
some
46.
Thank you so
Amen.
much.
You're welcome.
But I've been a part. It's the clay bath I do every night.
Is it?
I one time I was probably 16.
Yeah.
And I got invited to a birthday party, and let's just say this kid was popular.
Okay.
Oh man,
And,
Zach was his name Zach?
Morris.
Easily.
And I'm excited to go to his house, and I get there, and it's like 13 guys that like I had kind of seen around school, and I knew they were all different, various levels of popularity,
Different
all
tiers.
all
Right.
more so than
Different
me.
groups, or
Right,
are they
for
in the
sure.
same group?
Like,
what rung were you on? That 13 guys are above you in
The
different.
gardening club wasn't very popular.
Is that what you were in?
Yeah.
Okay.
The
So
clay mask group.
Right. That's why I look so old. So I get there and I walk in, and at first it's like normal birthday party vibes. All the guys are playing
Okay.
Halo.
Oh, okay.
The dad kind of greets me and whatnot.
God, I missed that.
With
It
a high
was
five.
so
Oh yeah.
fun. It was so fun.
Building
So
cardboard.
Well, it started at like 7 p.m. And then around like 9, both of his parents were like, "Hey, we're going to bed. You guys have fun. Be safe."
Whoa,
that's like the time that's the best part of the night. You're waiting for that moment.
Yeah.
It's the best part of the night if you know all the guys. But I think for me, it devolved into like Lord of the Flies pretty quickly because like,
oh geez,
weak link here.
It took like one guy to go like, "You guys want to do competition?"
Oh,
okay.
And it was like, it was like young
Halo?
teenage boys are trying to like, they have a lot of testosterone. They're trying to figure out life. And,
right.
Where they rank.
Right. Well, yeah, they were like, so let's see who could, keep their foot in this cooler of ice for the longest amount of time.
Say what now?
Okay. This party had a cooler of ice.
Right.
That's how I know it's cool.
Yeah, it's filled full of Capri Sun.
Right.
Okay.
And so I'm like, I don't really want to be part of this, but peer pressure. I also want, I
put your foot in the cooler?
Yeah.
Just for competition.
See how long you can keep it in there. And I'm like, okay, well, I see my window into the cool crowd. Peer pressure. If I can keep my foot in this cooler long enough,
you can walk your way up.
I'm going to walk away here with some
walk. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, some dignity.
So out of 13 kids, I think I placed 4th.
So you kept your foot in.
That's pretty good.
I made a name for myself. But the problem was, since I'd already entered the competition, there's no backing out. And the guy who was clearly the alpha kid.
Oh, yeah, muscles.
Goes, muscles. Goes, all right, next competition, punch in the chest.
What? What is wrong with this kid?
Dude,
I'm developing
so quickly.
I'm weak.
So the crowd's big enough. I start kind of like sneaking like down the hall.
Okay.
Like if I go to the bathroom, maybe I'll miss the punching part of the competition.
Right.
The entire competition.
Yeah. So I go around the corner to go into the bathroom, and his dad's just like awake, standing there. I thought they had been asleep.
Well, that's not creepy.
And he looks at me and he goes, "Don't want to compete."
Oh my God.
Jeez.
And I'm like,
Ew.
not really in this part.
It's not why I came to a birthday party.
Yeah.
He saw your size and your arm.
Right. And my frozen foot. And he goes, "You're going to have to, man. You're going to have to partake if you want to stay and hang out." And dude, it was like 11.
Was this like a single dad?
No, it was like 11 p.m. And I knew that if I called my parents, they're going to be upset with me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, my option is
we know what they were doing. No kids in the house?
Right. They're like, my option is to stay here and go through the tournament.
Right.
Mortal Kombat style.
Okay.
Or call my mom and slightly offend her.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Call your mom.
I called my mom.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how quickly I go, my belly hurts.
Bro, a prepubescent sternum, I've always said, is one of the weakest
It's fragile.
things. Yeah.
Fragile.
Yeah.
I sneeze and my sternum still kind of
What do you do?
sneeves.
I wasn't going to say anything.
Thanks for calling attention to it. So yeah, I went home that night. I would say it's probably one of the worst birthday parties I've ever been to.
How was school the next Monday?
Didn't see them all. None of them were in garden club.
Okay.
So I didn't have
Garden
to.
club all day Monday?
I did limp though because of the gangrene.
Yeah.
Your foot was just sliding
just
everywhere.
sliding around.
Cam?
It was kind of funny because one of the birthday parties I went to when I was probably like 10 kind of morphed into a competition too. I was just real quick. Where
Lots of boys.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Honestly, I think that this kid invited more kids than actually showed up, which is a little sad.
That's how you do it.
The key point here is there was way too much pizza.
Okay.
Way too much pizza.
Okay.
So
they're expecting 60 kids.
Yeah. And so the competition that started was who can eat the most pizza, or like there was literally enough
Wish I
pizza.
could have been there for that one.
Literally enough pizza for every kid to have an entire pizza for themselves.
Okay, so your competition was gluttony.
The competition was to finish your entire pizza. This is a pool party. So we're gross. Competing, trying to finish our pizza.
Yeah.
I finish it.
Of course you did.
Then start swimming immediately.
Yeah.
So we have probably
flip off the diving board.
10 boys like swimming with full entire pizzas in their
full tummies.
Yeah, it was not a good ending to not a good ending to that party. But anyways, my story that I was going to tell.
Please.
All right, kind of similar, right? This is when I'm older. I'm probably in my 20s.
Same thing.
Recently.
Pool party, pizza.
Yeah.
The place that I'm working, kind of an older crowd as far as my coworkers.
Okay.
I was like the youngest one there. And so they have this thing. I almost call it tradition, but that feels weird.
Okay.
Where they celebrate everybody's birthday.
Love it.
All right. And so
that sounds odd.
Right. When I came in, they celebrated my birthday.
Okay,
That's not the odd part. I'll get
weird.
to it. They celebrated my birthday. And what they did not tell me was that it's my job now that I just had a birthday. It was now my job to plan the party for the next person's birthday.
Okay, so you walk in for your birthday, everything's set.
Oh, yeah. I had no idea that they even knew my birthday.
You've received and now you have to give.
Right. So I thought this was just like put on by the business.
Of course.
I thought that was normal, but apparently, and I didn't get the memo as the new employee.
Yep.
It was my job to pay for the next person's party.
Okay.
Right. I'm supposed to provide like food for
Samantha's
an
coming
entire
up
business
on age 65.
Right.
Yeah.
I would rather just not celebrate my birthday than have to plan somebody else's.
I didn't ask you to give me cheese and crackers.
Right.
And a mediocre cake. And now I've got to fund this next person's birthday.
Yeah. Well, the issue was that nobody told me until it was too late because I get to work one day. Everything seems normal.
Yep.
But one of my coworkers was like extra happy, extra
name her
chippy, and just having a great day. Like coming talking to me a lot.
Okay.
Like excited, and I'm like, we barely talk to each other
in a great
at all.
mood.
You're in a different department, and so I don't know. It just felt weird. Well, we get to lunch, and you could see that her energy was going down.
She didn't bring her lunch.
She didn't bring her lunch.
Okay.
Oh, no.
She had nothing planned.
Oh, no.
So she's sitting around at lunch, and I'm like, hey, you're not eating today? Like,
you're rubbing it in even worse?
I had no idea.
Wow. You hungry?
I just said, are you not eating today? And she's like, well, I thought I was.
Oh, my gosh.
And so I had no idea. Well,
she really went down.
The day kind of goes on.
You're unwrapping your pub sub right in front of her.
I'm eating it right there at the table. I didn't offer to share.
No, why would you?
I didn't. I barely had enough. It was an entire pizza.
Yeah, right.
And so anyways, the day kind of goes on. She just breaks down and starts crying multiple times. And I'm so confused until a coworker finally, I don't know why it took like all day.
Yep.
Another coworker comes up and said, did you forget to plan for her birthday?
How do I forget? I didn't know.
I didn't even know it was.
Do you see balloons in the break room? Because I don't.
Why are you telling me at 3:45?
Apparently, the entire staff was upset with me for not providing a birthday party.
He's getting cold shoulder all day.
What you didn't know was she was an orphan. This is the only birthday party she gets.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't realize that until now, honestly.
It was her big one.
Also, the only meal she gets.
Yeah. Her weekly allotment was birthday parties at the office.
Yeah.
So anyways, I ruined like the entire day. And they're like, well, you can just do it tomorrow.
And you're like, too late.
I'm like, I think the deed's been done.
I've already spent my paycheck.
You go up to her and you put your hand on her shoulder and you're like, hey, listen.
Yeah.
Jennifer's birthday is next week. So
you better get on that.
I need you to start planning that.
Yeah, you have to still plan the next one. I'm not doing that one either.
Whether or not you receive, it doesn't matter.
No.
You've got to plan the next one.
I quit that day. I mean,
you had to.
It's
have
not
to walk
worth
away
it.
from
Honestly, the
that.
stress of planning a party,
Ew.
it's not worth it.
No, absolutely not.
Well, mine's very similar.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You had a competition pizza party at work?
Yeah, with an ice cube. I had to put my foot in. So it was like middle school.
Okay.
And I get told, and it's summer.
Yeah.
I get told, hey, Randall's party is this weekend. We're going to be dropping you off. That's
okay. Who told you this?
My parents at the time.
Okay.
And they're like, it's a pool party. So we'll get a gift and we'll drop you off. It's like 12 to 3.
Hope you can swim.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that summer.
Did you get a sun shirt?
No. Worse. That summer I had really I hadn't done my summer bod routine.
Right. Oh, geez.
Right.
I was doing more of a hibernation.
You started the winter bulk 3 months
jumped
early.
Into your story, didn't I?
Yeah, I was doing hibernation. So I had bulked up.
Right. Yeah, right.
And that was going to go my dry period where I don't eat.
Right. You had to bulk up and then trim.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You got cut.
Yeah.
So Randall's party is coming up and I'm getting nervous and I'm like, well, I don't want to swim, obviously. I'm anti-swim.
Right.
Right. You've said that for a long time.
And I have my own pool. So a pool party doesn't intrigue me.
I do this every day.
Bingo.
Right.
So I decide if this party's popping.
Right.
Like if Nelly is playing on the boombox.
Sure.
I want to be ready.
Right.
So I wear my swim trunks under my cargo pants.
Right.
That's a good idea.
Yep.
Just in case.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I got my polo shirt.
Right. But under that.
Yeah. Nothing.
Okay.
All skin. All flesh.
That's fine.
Nips and flesh.
Right. Sex appeal.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I get dropped off at Randall's.
Okay.
I hand him the gift, obviously.
Right.
I walk out and it looks like Billy Madison had just graduated another grade.
No.
I mean, the pool party is like popping.
No.
Inflatable alligator slip and slide.
Right.
Pool noodles that you can shoot water through.
Oh my goodness.
Cotton candy machine.
Cotton candy machine.
Right.
Full size torpedoes.
No way.
Underwater. Yeah, not the mini
Dangerous.
ones.
No.
Yeah. So,
Footlongers.
and only like 6 kids.
So
Wait,
this
what?
has been like custom made
So I'm
for
like,
you.
this is popping.
Right.
Okay.
So
Lots of toys, but not lots of kids.
not a lot of kids yet. I was early. Obviously.
Okay.
Right.
So Randall's dad's like, hey man, I know she didn't bring swim trunks. I got an extra pair. Here you go. And he pushes me into the bathroom.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, I already had mine on under.
Right.
I didn't want to wear some big bright red like lifeguard swim trunks.
Exactly.
So I come out and he's like, oh, where'd you get those? And I'm like, they were in there. I found them.
Yeah.
But these were like my cool like Quicksilvers.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So like I get in the water and I know like if I'm in the water neck down,
Okay.
they can't see.
Confidence.
That's a really good look.
Yeah, they can't see anything underneath the
It's
water.
like a turtleneck.
Right. So the party keeps popping. More people show up. Right.
Right.
The 3 hours goes by. Everybody, and the host is like, okay, you guys got to get in your dry clothes for your parents to pick you up.
Okay.
So I go in and I change. And Randall's dad's like, hey, where are those trunks that you had on? And I'm like, I'm not sure. And he's like, I see them right there in your bag. I'll take those.
Wait,
I'll make sure they
what?
get to the right owner. So I had to leave without my swimming trunks.
What?
Yeah, because he thought, I told him I found the swimming trunks.
Right.
Okay.
He didn't know you snuck them in under your cargo.
Yes. And I didn't want to admit it.
Right.
So
I had
just
to-
like a simple little lie.
Yes.
Just like,
I lost my Quicksilver swim trunks.
oh man.
All summer I had to wear Umbros. And you know how the suction is on those things.
You have the bubbles coming out like periodically. You have to release the
it's
pressure.
It's like a parachute. And then you get out and just sucks tight. You can see everything.
Yeah, you really
You
can.
can. I lost a good pair of
Real
swim
Billy
trunks.
Madison party.
So you may have noticed that our intro music has changed to the kind of the more sinister, creepy version.
Sinister.
Yeah.
Harsh.
So that's because every October we launch a month full of spooky content on our show.
right.
Mm-hmm.
We've done this every year for almost 3 years now. It's a ton of fun. And we still keep the show family friendly, but we add a little spook here in the story section.
Correct.
Just a little extra spooky. And the best part about every October, every single year, is our faithful listeners submit their spooky stories.
Unrequested, too.
They just start sending them in. No joke. I would say August or September.
Yep.
They'll start sending spooky stories in, just like, hey, if you get around to it,
Right.
here's my spooky
That's
story.
when I stopped checking the email.
You got to start sending your story in for next year at this point.
Okay.
Right, 2023.
Yeah.
I need those
Well,
stories.
you skipped a year.
Here's the thing, though. Usually in the story section of our show, there's like and we've taken listener stories before, but usually we flesh them out.
Right.
It takes up the whole segment. And a couple times we've shared multiple listener stories. So we're going to do that again tonight. Episode 151. We've got a few kind of smaller, spooky stories submitted from our listeners. And we had a ton, by the way. But I'm only going to focus on a few that featured Florida because
Okay.
it's what we do. You know what I mean? I'm
Yes,
trying to keep
what
it
we
home
do.
base. But yeah, here we go. Story number 1 was sent in by Felicia Gonzalez,
Okay.
who currently lives in Fairfield, California.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Well, we'll hold it against you.
We'll
Yeah.
dive right in. She says, I was driving across the country with my mom and sister
Okay.
when I was 13 and my sister was 15. We had just crossed the Florida state line. It was late, but we were well rested and still very alert. And we were driving along Interstate 75 when we needed gas and a bathroom break. So we stopped at a rest stop just outside of a small town called Jasper, Florida.
Okay.
Don't like this.
I'm spooked already.
Yeah.
That is, there's something about the small town where you're just like,
It's small town. It's rest stop, gas.
it's not going to go well.
No.
I remember there was a van full of teenagers who appeared to be on a road trip at the gas station.
Yeah.
As well as a small gray car parked at the pump in front of us with 2 older men just standing outside of it. When we got there, everything felt wrong.
Yeah.
We'd been on the road for days and seen many rest stops at night, and I had never been afraid until then.
Okay.
My mom and sister went inside, and I stayed in the car, and I heard the teenagers say that they were creeped out and they couldn't get their gas pump to work, so they all got in the van and left in a hurry. I was watching the car in front of us, and the 2 men had not moved at all, not a single inch. They weren't talking. They weren't looking at their phones. They were just standing there as still as a mannequin.
Don't like this.
All of a sudden, my sister and my mom come running back to the car, and when they got in, they told me to lock the doors, and I heard my mom tell me repeatedly to put my seatbelt on, but I couldn't move because I was frozen in fear. The 2 men who were standing outside of the car in front of ours slowly turned to look at us while not moving or pivoting the rest of their bodies. And I swear on my life, we all saw the same thing. They had eyes that were pitch black and completely empty. And I heard my sister say they looked just like the woman inside the bathroom.
Wait.
Oh my goodness.
We sped out of there as fast as we could, and we didn't stop until we were 3 hours south in Ocala. Until this day, the worst thing about the entire experience is that we could never find the place on a map. We knew exactly which spot on the interstate to look, but we couldn't find it on Google Maps or any paper map. We even checked the Florida Department of Transportation's list of rest stops, and there wasn't one listed anywhere near Jasper, Florida. So if you're ever traveling in North Florida at night and you're tempted to stop near Jasper, just keep driving.
Don't do
This
it.
could be my least favorite story ever.
I love it.
Dude, I honestly, like, okay, it's scary from her perspective.
Felicia, yeah.
You know, of seeing the 2 guys.
Yeah.
Right.
The scariest part to me is seeing a woman in a bathroom with
Ugh.
that.
The thing about that's the creep me out the worst
Small
is
spot.
her saying her sister
Confined.
saying that's the same. They look just like,
Yeah.
you know. And I think too, it's like the idea of like not being able to find it again. So from what I gather, they didn't go back and look for it, obviously, but to not be able to find it on like Google Maps, not be able to find it on, you know, on the State Department's list of rest stops.
Like it.
Stop looking.
Yeah, just leave it be.
Move
But
on.
there's also one of those weird things where, like, have you ever been involved in something spooky?
No.
And it's not just you. Like, your friends go, yeah, that felt weird.
Bulk theater.
And that confirmation's kind of odd. It happened to us before.
Yeah.
We filmed stuff on location in spooky spots, and the whole team's like, nah, didn't feel too good about that.
Green
Yeah.
swamp.
Yeah, right. No, exactly. So
This Halloween special.
yeah, coming up, baby, in a
Yeah.
couple weeks. But that was Felicia Gonzalez. Thank you for sending that in. Well done. Very spooky.
Didn't like that at all.
Let's see if we can top it. Story number 2.
Okay.
Nope.
This comes from Brandon White, who currently lives in Gainesville, Florida.
Okay.
Okay.
Congratulations. He says, I grew up in a small town in Marion County where the only things to do as a teenager were drink in orange groves or drink outside the mall.
Okay.
Well,
Okay, so
you could have
drinks-
done that without drinking.
Yeah.
Maybe, but I guess he's bored.
Right.
Eat pizza. Have a pizza eating competition.
Yeah, competition.
In the pool.
Cooler competition.
Right. So basically, we did a lot of drinking, he says.
Okay.
Sounds like it.
Wow.
One night, we decided to switch things up
Okay.
and go drinking on a small lake near an old graveyard.
Well, okay. I guess change of
Go-
Scenery.
Just go back to the mall.
The mall,
Yep. Yeah.
kind of boring. So he says we were driving my friend's really old beat up Toyota, and we parked on a small hill in the cemetery and walked down towards the pond.
This is already a recipe
Yeah, that's bad.
for bad news.
This is bad news. We were there a while before we noticed that there was someone sitting on the other side of the water. So I guess it's like a smaller pond.
Time to go.
There's someone sitting on the other side. It's late at night. And it says the guy was dressed in all black, and we couldn't make out any features other than the fact that it looked like a man who was wearing some sort of old school style top hat.
Okay.
Top hat.
Yeah.
He says being drunk and young, we stupidly started waving and shouting at the man to come join us.
Nope.
Well, it's not every day that you see a top hat.
Right.
That does say I'm fun.
Right.
A top hat does say
I want to meet
And
you.
I want to pause and just say, teenage boys drinking, you do have this weird confidence where you're like,
well,
you're with
there's
your
like-
friends and you're invincible.
There's
you
a
know what I mean?
bravado that happens.
Yeah, I mean, they chose to hang out in a graveyard because they're teenagers.
Yeah.
They said that they yelled at the man to come join us. He didn't show any signs of acknowledgement, and he continued sitting as still as can be until all of a sudden, out of the blue, he jumped to his feet and began sprinting as fast as he could around the pond towards us.
No.
My friends and I screamed and ran back up the hill towards the car.
Yeah.
The only problem was, as I was running up the hill, I slipped and I fell, tumbling all the way down to the bottom.
Oh my
You're done,
goodness.
bro.
I heard the man approaching. And just as he was about to reach me, I closed my eyes, half expecting to be attacked in some way, but nothing ever happened. In fact, when I opened my eyes, the man was nowhere to be seen. My friends, being the true bros they are, all came back to help me, and they were equally as confused as the man had seemingly disappeared.
What?
Till this day, we often tell the story of the crazy man in the top hat who chased us in a graveyard before completely vanishing.
Okay, so
Cameron, please.
What's scarier?
Okay.
Like you open your eyes
after
you're falling down, and the guy that you just saw is standing right there, ready to do something.
Yeah.
Or the guy that you just saw running at you disappeared in front of your eyes.
I think here's they're both equally spooky. One's longer. They're both spooky. For
one's
me,
spooky, one's it's scary.
And the sudden jolting movement of that unsettles me more than anything. That someone can go from like still to sprinting at you.
Right.
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
You see what
now,
I'm
did the top hat stay on?
That's
when the sprint
did he have to hold it to run? Because if he didn't hold his top hat,
Abe Lincoln's running around the pond full speed, hanging on to his top hat before vanishing.
Hole in his head.
The weird thing about it is, because it's Abe Lincoln. Brandon actually included some details that weren't in the story, kind of some cliff notes, and he had said that the same group of friends, they're all still friends.
Yeah.
They end up going to college together, and they would share that story often.
Hate it
because they all experienced the same thing.
Right.
Like they all said, no, the guy was there, and then he wasn't there.
Okay.
And
to be fair, they were drinking.
They were drinking, and I think a lot of legends can be honestly chalked up to the fact that, even think about it, in early human history, you didn't have glasses, and a lot of the entertainment was alcohol based.
Oh, easily.
So a lot of legends and myths are probably people who couldn't see well, and they were drunk, and they were like, "Oh yeah, that was a dragon."
Are you just disputing everything that
you're
we've
saying
ever known to be
alcohol.
true?
Possibly
Because of alcohol.
But I'm saying with this,
Because of bad vision?
I think we have an unreliable narrator.
Right.
And these four young
You're
men.
calling God an unreliable narrator?
I'm calling Brandon White from Gainesville an unreliable narrator.
Okay.
No, but I think it is interesting. Again, same with the first story. When you have multiple people experiencing the same thing, that's got to suck to go like, I just wish you were there because you would believe me.
But these
you know what I mean? Like,
I believe you.
Oh, we believe you, Brandon.
Oh, yeah. These are buds, right? They're not all equally drunk.
Right.
One's less drunk, but they all get up.
True.
Once, the guy grabs the brim of his top hat and starts sprinting.
Right.
They all, I assume, scream like 5-year-olds.
You leave as a former teenage boy.
Yeah.
I remember the thrill of running away from stuff with my friends. We used to run from like headlights because that was sort of the fun thing to do.
Yeah.
So I imagine there was like
the car driving at you?
No, but it was but side note,
we used to run in front of cars.
No, sidebar, the cars sometimes would, like if someone was driving and they see teenagers sprinting away, sometimes they would turn after to see what was going on.
Yeah.
And then you hope for that so you can run.
Yep.
So I imagine these boys, the ecstasy of the chase turned into like, holy, our friend has fallen.
Right.
They go back to retrieve their fallen brother, and
I could see me living this, like saying, "Hey, top hat guy, come over here.
Right.
Have a beer." And then he suddenly takes off after us.
Maybe he really wanted that beer.
Yeah.
He was thirsty, and he was like, "My guy, thanks for the invite." But then right when he gets close to it, he goes, "I shouldn't have it."
He trips and falls in the pond.
And drowns.
Oh, no.
Thanks a lot, Brandon.
What's spooky? They killed a man that night.
Oh, my gosh.
I know what you did last summer.
Wow. Story number 3. And this is our last one, and probably my least favorite, because this one is...
it's worse than
somebody murdering a man in a top hat?
Yeah. Or 3 people with black eyes.
I know. It comes from, let's see, Martin Taylor, who is from Panama City, Florida.
Okay.
Beautiful city.
Here we go.
It says, my dad used to work as a corrections officer at the prison in Stark.
Okay.
Stark's a small town in North Florida. Every night, he drove the perimeter of the property for his entire shift. His job was to check empty buildings for runaway inmates and generally it was pretty boring.
What?
So they're preemptively looking for inmates that ran away?
Checks?
Yeah, so why don't they just check
basically,
the rooms?
it was a tiered system.
So
there were multiple people outside in trucks driving around the perimeter. And that was basically, like he said here, it was for the most part a boring job because people didn't escape prison.
Right.
So your job was just to drive around and keep an eye out.
I get it.
Martin says, one night my dad was parked on a hill reading a magazine when he started to feel a thumping inside of his body. He described it as the feeling,
heart, buddy.
Yeah. He described it as the feeling you get when speakers are playing a song with really heavy bass.
Okay.
So it's like inside of his body. Yep. Yeah, like right. He put the magazine down and he checked his rearview mirror only to notice someone standing outside of his truck.
Okay. Don't like that at all.
So he grabbed his pistol and he jumped out of the truck with his weapon drawn because he's a corrections officer. Yeah. He's assuming someone's escaped.
Right.
But once he was outside, there was no one to be found. He kind of looks around the truck. There's nobody.
Okay.
So he radios to the tower and he does a full perimeter check, but no one was ever spotted outside of the fence except for his partner who was on patrol on the other side.
Okay.
And so after about an hour, he starts to think maybe it's a fluke. Maybe I didn't see anybody, and he goes back to reading his magazine.
Which is hard when that's your job.
I know. Like, it's,
you're always going to be thinking,
someone just got away?
Right.
And I think, again, here I'm assuming this wasn't included in the story, but I'm assuming when he radioed the tower, they're able to do some sort of like quick check. Like
maybe a big spotlight.
Because Stark is a smaller prison.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they were able to go, look, man, everybody's here. You didn't miss anybody.
We got 10 people.
We did attendance. Everybody.
Everybody
said here.
They all said here.
Present.
So basically, he goes back to reading his magazine, and that's when he begins feeling it again. The dull pressure, the thumping within his chest, as if he was standing next to a speaker at a concert. Before he had time to react, his night shift partner, who was covering the other side of the perimeter, radioed to him and was asking him, are you feeling the same strange sensation?
Don't like this
inside
at all.
of your chest. Now, keep in mind, I said Stark's a small prison. The perimeter is massive.
Yeah.
And this guy's on the other side of the perimeter. Now he's radioing in to Martin's dad going, hey, do you feel that?
Yeah.
Like it feels like this thumping inside of our body. Martin says, my dad started to confirm that he too kind of felt the same thing. But before he could, his partner started screaming on the other end of the radio.
Scream is not good via walkie-talkie.
It wasn't even like audible, like English. He was screaming as if he was in pain and panicking. Martin says, my dad drove his truck as fast as he could to where his partner was. But by the time he arrived, his partner was already passed out in the dirt outside of his truck. He was next to his vehicle. The lights were on. The truck door was open, and his partner was passed out on the ground.
Wow.
He says, when Martin says, when my dad approached, his partner woke up and kept crying and screaming over and over again the same thing. He kept saying, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. The men with the drums are everywhere.
Don't like this.
Okay.
One bit.
The men with the drums?
Yeah. He said his partner never recovered from that evening. He actually quit a few days later. And a week later, my father resigned. They never figured out what exactly he saw, but after doing some research on his own, my dad discovered that the Stark Correctional Facility was actually built right next to a First Nation burial ground.
Here we go.
Martin says maybe the spirits of the dead caused his partner to lose his sanity. No matter what you believe, I figured you boys would appreciate the story.
I guarantee you, yes. Absolutely.
And here's the thing. Again, the common theme is experiencing the paranormal or the unexplained with somebody else,
right?
So that you know you're not crazy.
Did his dad quit because of that?
Because of the partner. So the partner quit the next day, a couple days later, and the dad resigned a week later because I'm assuming it was traumatizing.
Right.
You know what he witnessed. I mean, probably more so for the guy, but you know, for
he still experienced the drums.
Yeah, for real.
He did. And I think that confirmation is odd because again, when someone radios in and goes, "Hey, you feeling that?"
Like that.
Like at the very least, I feel like logically you would go, "Okay, well, we're both experiencing the same thing. Something's going on.
Something's happening."
Solar flare.
Before you have time to process, this guy starts screaming bloody murder, and then he's passed out and wakes up screaming. The men are everywhere. The men with the drums are everywhere.
Yeah, there's no reason to spend every night out there anymore. I get why he resigned.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's 100% donezo. And then I think it's just one of those things where it's again like, unfortunately, with the dark history of our state, there's First Nation burial grounds everywhere.
Oh yeah.
And so, but then they had that added layer of the correctional facility being near one. I think kind of at that point, I hope for Martin's dad at least that was enough to go, okay, cool. We
I think everywhere.
I think it's a good call just to get out.
Yeah,
get out of that. One. But here's the thing: we appreciate you guys writing in and being a part of the process. You guys send in headlines, you send in your letters to Josh, you send in stories to me, and it does make the show feel authentic and makes it feel like we kind of have this kind of neat creative community.
What's even better is one of our Patreons, Lauren. Actually is very familiar with the Stark prison.
He absolutely is.
So maybe he can give us some insight. I don't want to hear it.
Right.
But maybe he can.
He can give us some insight and maybe his personal experience.
Yeah. And at this point, if you have any more spooky stories, haunting stories, any kind of just scary stuff, go ahead and send it straight to Josh at this point.
Yeah.
Josh, if you'd like to plug
Josh
your Instagram.
at gmail.com.
Okay. Yeah.
Just send them right to
He got
Josh
in early on the Gmail train. Listen, I'll tell you what, patreon.com/FMOFM podcast is where you can find all the bonus material you want for our show. And FMOFM.com is where you can find all of our links, the episodes to our the Spanish version of our show, and we love you guys. We appreciate you. We want to do right by you. So let us know what you want to hear and what you want to see, and we'll try to make it happen.
Amen.
151.
151.
It was fun.
We had some spooks. We had some fun.
151.
Okay.
Well, let's leave that to
Let's leave that to Elena Francine.
Okay.
Yeah, please.
Elena, hey, we love you guys. Have a good one.
All right.